When there's an achievement to be earned, I put all my time and effort into chasing it. I used to think that would always be a good thing, always. But it wasn't until I was told to abandon my passion for an achievement that I realized the chase could be destructive. See, I was working on this speech that had a message I felt passionate about. I was going to enter in a tournament for the speech and debate club that I was in. And one of the seniors in the club was telling me all the different ways I could change the speech to have it please the judges. And according to her, I would basically need to change the message of the speech in order to please the judges. So I had to ask myself, do I really need to change the message to win? Do I win the judges over for a trophy, or do I stick to the message I want to send, even if it means sacrificing awards? Basically, the question for me was achieve or contribute. Well, what's the difference between the two? Here we're treating achievements as acts done for short-term personal gain, and contributions as acts that help bring about a result or help something to advance. And I'll be honest when I say that I don't really care about a person's achievements. I'll think it's interesting, but I won't really care. Just like on January 21st, 2019, a very important date. For all you Big Brother fans out there, this was the premiere date for the newest season of Celebrity Big Brother. Big Brother is a reality game show about strangers living in a house together competing for $500,000. I watch the 3 episodes that come out each week and even some of the live feeds. Yeah, I love Big Brother, if you can't tell. I even follow some fan blogs about it. And when I was given the premiere date for this season, I reminisced on the other season that aired just a month prior. But I couldn't recall who won after all that time I spent obsessing over it. I can tell you, though, that Ariana Grande's brother was a player 4 years ago. He was a good player, and he could have used that $500,000. It could have changed his life. I still remember his choice to this day. He decided to play for charity. If he won, Frankie Grande would have donated that money to help build schools in underdeveloped areas in Africa. So I couldn't tell you who won last season, but I remember the choice that Frankie Grande made 4 years ago. Achievements versus contributions. Contributions are memorable. A memorable historical figure is Martin Luther King Jr. Is he known for his achievements or his contributions? Yes, much of what he's done are considered great achievements, but it's the fact that these achievements contributed to the world that made him so memorable. MLK led the Montgomery Bus Boycott after Rosa Parks refused to give her seat to a white man and was arrested. He led the civil rights protests for 385 days until segregation on public buses was deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. That case was essential for future desegregation cases because it set a precedent. So the success of the boycott is considered one of MLK's great achievements, but it's the fact that this success of the boycott contributed to the civil rights movement that made it so memorable, as it led to the immense progress that we see in racial equality today. Here we see there's overlaps between achievements and contributions. There are achievements that contribute, and sometimes a person's contributions are considered one of their greatest achievements. And I'm not saying by any means that all achievements are bad or that everybody needs to dedicate their lives to volunteer work and charity, but if we are solely focused on improving our own self-worth and making ourselves feel good, we might be hurting ourselves more than we're helping. We don't have our needs in mind, only what we need to do to feel good about who we are, and we seek affirmation from status symbols. While our culture as a whole is obsessed with status symbols, you've got the fancy cars, number of followers on Instagram, 6-pack abs or a bikini body. All of these things are supposed to represent our worth. Well, I brought 2 boxes today. I have a cardboard box and a little blue box. To a lot of people, this little blue box is worth more because it says Tiffany. If you go on eBay, a Gucci box will sell from somewhere between $20 and $100. If you look at the runway, you'll see models wearing necklaces that say Chanel or t-shirts that say Gucci at their fashion shows. And it used to be just that, fashion. But at a time where songs that are popular have titles like Gucci Gang and Gucci Flip-Flops, it's not about fashion anymore. They're status symbols. And these status symbols do boost our self-esteem, but these possessions end up becoming the ultimate goal. Like a person's achievements are the only way to determine their worth. And these goals hurt us because they distract us from important things, because like our relationships, our morals, and how we help others. In some ways, I think of college as a status symbol. You gotta let me explain. See, I've known for a long time that I want to be a teacher. Logically, I don't need to go to a UC or an Ivy League school to become a teacher, but for a long time I wanted to, because all I was thinking about was opening up the mailbox and getting big stacks of acceptance letters. To me, acceptance letters were a status symbol, and I ignored the actual ways that college could contribute to me with knowledge and how I could contribute to the world with that knowledge. The two colleges I wanted to go to were UCSD and Stanford, both big schools near big cities. But I'm a shy, introverted person, and big schools near big cities would give me anxiety. I couldn't reach my full potential in those schools, so they wouldn't contribute as much to me as a smaller college would. But I just wanted that status symbol of the acceptance letter, so I kept piling on the honors courses and extracurriculars. I sacrificed time to do those things. Time that I could have used to become a teacher's aide or work with kids, which is what I wanted to do with my life. But worst of all, I was the most unhappy, anxious, and honestly depressed that I've ever been when I was overloading myself. I struggled balancing everything. I didn't get enough sleep, and at one point, I started losing my hair in clumps. I didn't really like a lot of the clubs that I was in. I didn't need to take a lot of the classes that I took. So if I didn't need to, and I didn't want to, then why would I hurt myself like that? I was trying to feel better about myself by chasing these achievements. And chasing these meaningless achievements not only hurt myself, it hurt those around me. This happened especially at my old job. I used to work at Carl's Jr. in the drive-thru. And at the drive-thru, there'd be this timer that starts when the customer pulls up to the speaker and ends when they drive away with the food. It would show the average time of the day. And man, let me tell you, I felt like I got a gold star if my times were low. So I got super competitive about having a better average than the other cashiers. But in doing so, I sacrificed customer service because I was rushed. Sometimes a customer would try to make small talk with me, and I would just ignore them so they would leave and make my time better. The whole reason of having the timer is to make sure that the customers are happy, and I'm sure they weren't happy when I ignored them. I didn't let anybody get in the way of a load time, not even coworkers. One of the other cashiers would tease me about being in beast mode when I was at work. And feeling as superior as I did in the drive-thru, it's no surprise that my coworkers weren't rushing to become my friend. When you think and act like you're superior, people around you can feel hostile and unwelcome. Here we've seen that there are two possible outcomes to chasing these meaningless, self-serving achievements. There's hurting others once you've achieved that perceived achievement. Like at Carl's Jr., when I fixated on the timer, I hurt the customers, coworkers, and the business by being rushed and rude. And then there's hurting yourself, trying to improve your confidence by chasing these meaningless achievements. Like when I overloaded myself academically, I hurt my mental and physical health, trying to chase the status symbol of a college with a big name. But it was important for me to realize that both sides had no true connections to the actual contributions I wanted to make in the world. Therein lies the key to not hurting yourself or others. Derive worth and intrinsic value. Intrinsic motivation is satisfying because you're doing things that are naturally gratifying to you and that contribute, not just because of external rewards like status symbols. Now think about what you do on a daily basis. Do you do these things to make people happy, to help others, to better the world, or do you do them just for yourself? And if your goals are centered solely on yourself, are they really worth your time? Because we can never regain the time we've wasted chasing meaningless achievements, but we can make sure to value the time we've been blessed with today. And remember the words of Robin Sharma, who said that success is not a function of the size of your title, but the richness of your contribution. Thank you.